Hey WILDR folks, Alicia here. Welcome to today's 6-minute mobility. You are going to need a raised surface, so a kitchen chair or your box, and you're also going to need a foam roller or something else to balance with. All right, getting into our 6 minutes, we are going to start by working on hip flexor strength and length here. So I want you to come up to your box, keeping your hips totally level. I want you to lift your knee off the box as high as you can go without your pelvis moving, and then come back down. We're going to be doing this for a full minute. So get set up here, keep that core tight, and place a hand on the lower part of your back. You might feel muscles working here, but we don't want to feel the bones of the pelvis moving. Instead, we're trying to work those hip flexors close to our end range, building strength in this range of motion. If that raised surface is too high for you, you can scoot on back, start with a lower starting point. But we do want to feel a burn through the muscles that run here and through and across the hip. Without that pelvis moving. Awesome. We're going to put our top foot down on the box now and turn to the side. Now, in this surface, I want you to drive this hip down so that we are level across the hips. If we had a set of headlights on our hip bones here, they should be level, not one up. From there, we are going to slightly hinge forward and then coming up strong, squeezing the glutes to get full hip extension. We're going to be doing this for the full minute. If there's a spot where you want to hang out, you feel a nice stretch through your groin, or you feel a nice stretch through the hip flexors on either leg, you are more than welcome to stay there for a moment. We're going to cycle through this for 3 more times. We can do a gentle bend in the knee. Make sure that's not hyperextended. We don't want to feel pressure on the inside of the knee. And now we get to do something super fun. We're going to drive that foot into the box or raised surface for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Notice that stretch change, and let's hinge again for 5 more. Now, if this box is too high, I won't be able to get my hips level. I'll have to do it like this. If that's the case, make a lower surface for yourself, even as low as the ground to begin with. All right, just a couple more. And we get to go into our 3rd exercise, coming into a couch stretch. Now this is very simple, but very difficult. So I want you to take that same leg that was on the box, and I want you to try and get the knee as close as you can to that raised surface. If this causes discomfort or moves, mine's moving a little bit, you can do it up against the wall instead. But from this position, I want you to pretend your pelvis is a bowl of water, and I want you to try and spill out the back of the bowl, really stretching the front of the hip. You might even feel it all the way up into the tummy. That's the top part of one of our hip flexor muscles that goes that deep. And we are going to be hanging out in this glorious stretch for another 30 seconds. Now, for 5 seconds, let's push into this back foot, pushing our foot towards that raised surface. I'm putting my hand here because my box is going to move. For 3, 2, 1. Now we can relax, feel that stretch change, and move. Now, you won't feel the stretch if you're sticking your belly out and sticking your butt out. So instead, pull your pelvis underneath yourself for 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. We are going to start all of that on the second side. If you want to really do a good job on your hip flexors, you could repeat that side twice. All right. We're starting with our hip flexor raises. Bringing that foot onto my raised surface and lifting. Remember, if this is too high, use a lower surface. We just want to be focused on that contraction close to our tightest point of our hip flexor movement here. Bottom foot that's on the ground is actively helping us balance here. Core is tight and our pelvis isn't moving. We're not going like this, doing the scoop to try and get the leg up. We're independently using those hip flexors. Awesome work. I've got about 15 seconds left here. I want you to feel a burn. We shouldn't be feeling pain or discomfort in the low back. If you are feeling that, take a second, reset, and try and drive with only those hip flexors, using them to do the movement Going for 3 more seconds, 2 and 1. Awesome, this foot's gonna stay on the bench or raised surface. We're gonna walk wide so that we get a gentle stretch through the hip flexors, gentle bend in both knees. Let's hinge forward and come on up. We're feeling a stretch through the groin that changes as we hinge. And then we're using the muscles of the glutes to find ourselves in full hip extension as we come up here, tight through the core. We should be able to get just a tiny bit of a stretch through parts of the hip flexors as we come up tall, either on this side or on this side. All right, for 5 seconds, we're gonna press into that box. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, let the stretch change and move. And we're gonna go back to hinging. Awesome. Good stuff. All right, we're gonna go into our couch stretch now. I'm gonna put a little padding on here. This edge of the box is a little bit painful on the top of my foot. Remember, you can use a wall for this, and the closer my knee is to that raised surface or wall, the more difficult this is, until your knee is right up against it. Let's pull the pelvis back as if we're spilling water out of the back of it. Tight through the core still. We should find ourselves in a pretty aggressive stretch through the front of the hip. You might even feel it up deep into the tummy. That's one of the hip flexor muscles. Inserts onto the lower part of our spine down there. So it's okay to feel this stretch in there. Make sure you are searching for it actively. All right, for 5 seconds, we're pushing this back foot into the raised surface or into the wall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now relax. Oh, feel that relaxation. Change the stretch. You can walk the foot towards the knee this way or wider this way to change the stretch. It's an amazing way to change it day to day or halfway through our stretch, just to make sure that we're not neglecting any areas or ranges of motion here. Deep breath. Fully relaxing here. But pressing towards that raised surface. 3, 2, 1, and come on out of it. Awesome. All right. I hope you enjoyed that and you have a wilder day. We'll talk to you soon.